think you can guess where we're going to start. England victorious over Tunisia just a little while ago as we're recording this. We're going to talk about the positives and negatives. So let's start with the good. The good, obviously, is that we won the match. But what else? What can we take in terms of our performance that was very positive about the way England played, Dugan?
Harry Kane takes the chances that are crucial to a match, I think we can say. I think he didn't have many chances throughout the game. They fell largely to the plethora of players who were behind him. But when Kane had that crucial opportunity, both that when he scored in the first half and in that last pressure moment in the last 2 minutes of the game, he capitalised, he made his impact felt, and that makes us sit there and think we have a substantial centre forward who, when it comes to the crunch, will score those goals for us, and that's something we haven't felt for a significant amount of time as an England team.
I think the first half, Tom, right, in particular, England were very good going forwards. I think it's fair to say, obviously, the final product was lacking sometimes. We wasted a lot of opportunities, but there was a lot of movement. It was very fast paced. Jesse Lingard seemed to be involved in just about every single move that we made. At half time, despite the fact that we conceded the penalty and it was 1-1, there were plenty of reasons to be cheerful, right?
I mean, I think I was initially slightly nervous about Southgate's selection by just having one central midfield player and playing Ali and Lingard, but they seemed to justify it because Lingard, as you said, was absolutely everywhere. He was like a little fly. So, I mean, again, I was sceptical about him even going to the World Cup in the first place, but I think that he could be a key player for us. I think he was really sharp to latch onto that through ball. I know he hit the post, but I mean, to have players that are switched on as Kane, as you were saying, I think that it looks bright. Now
the second half, I think, was a little bit down. We'll talk about that in a minute. But what's good about the second half, I think, a couple of things, right? So first of all, you've got to say that England were being attacked. Essentially, there was obviously the Tunisian plan was to hit them with their elbows, try and get under their skin with lots of little fouls, a lot of which the referee didn't pick up on, right? And actually, it's to England's credit, I think, that they didn't lose their composure. If we could have had a petulant streak there, we could have lost a player to a red card if someone reacted.
Well, there wasn't the booking in the game, right? The England players managed to hold themselves within the boundaries of what the referee saw was appropriate.
Well, Kyle Walker got booked for the penalty.
He booked for the penalty, but that's to be expected. Outside of that, in normal play, and they held themselves to a standard that was appropriate for the game. If the referee's going to be that bit more lenient, then you can add that little extra bit in, but still be within not giving an advantage to the other team. So they played well within the confines of that thing. But also, they created chances. I mean, this is something we haven't seen from an England team for a while. Throughout the qualification period, yes, we scored some goals, yes, we had comfortable games, but against a tough opposition, which Tunisia undoubtedly were for large parts of that game, we managed to create chances. Yes, we didn't quite convert them all, but that stream of creativity is there. It just takes that little extra bit to go forward, which I'd much rather be in a position where we're creating the chances versus having 2 or 3 a game where we should have put them away.
Tom, what do you think? Do you think, in terms of England's second half performance, the positives from it, obviously they maintain their composure, like we just talked about. The other thing is, there was a certain resilience to England's performance in terms of not giving up. The pace did slow somewhat, but it was obvious that England were the attacking team. We spent most of the second half camped in there. In the opposition final third. There was no sign of England's heads going down after we conceded the penalty. Well,
I think there's always going to be a spat in the game where Tunisia get like a hold of the possession, that sort of thing. The first 10 minutes, Tunisia actually looked quite slick with the ball, but I mean, they didn't have one shot on target other than the penalty, I don't think. So, I mean, the back three, that shape looked good. And I think maybe the most positive aspects of the whole thing is the subs that we have, that we're able to bring the likes of Rashford and Loftus-Cheek on, whereas other teams may necessarily struggle and not have someone of that.
Actually, Rashford's a positive in itself, I think, because Rashford, at a time when it did feel like we slowed the pace somewhat, Rashford definitely injected a bit of urgency in there.
Well, I think Rashford's really the only player that attacks defenders and tries to do like a jink or drop the shoulder and go round them, whereas Sterling's more running onto the ball, Lingard's more fast feet and that sort of thing. So Rashford's the only real player that scares people.
Rashford's first choice is to go at the goal. Everyone else plays, they're looking to square up, they're looking to offload the ball. Rashford's first look is, can I get some kind of attacking threat going forward at the goal? If I can, yes. I mean, maybe like 2 or 3 times out of 10 he gets tackled. But fine, he makes that initial attempt. Whereas other players, which is why Rashford is useful coming off the bench as opposed to starting. Because if you reverse it around, let's say you have Rashford starting and then Sterling comes off the bench. If your initial thing isn't working and Sterling comes off the bench, he does not provide you that incisive nature that you look for a sub to bring you. He does not provide that massive game-creating difference that Rashford provides you instead. Which is why Rashford's coming off the bench. And to have Loftus-Cheek and Rashford coming off the bench, two impact players, is only a positive for this England team going forward.
All right, whistle's gone, so we'll stop there. We're going to be back in just a second and we will talk about the negatives from England's performance.